Hey, badass mamas. Today's question comes from a longtime friend and fellow badass mama. She asks, should I throw extra money at my credit card debt, which is starting to feel uncomfortably high, or rebuild my emergency fund, which has been drained by a bunch of little crises this year? Most of us have faced this crossroads at some point in our lives. The classic advice that you hear from a lot of advisors is build your savings first, start your emergency fund, get your cushion, then pay down your debt. And there's nothing wrong with that advice. It's just fine. It just doesn't work for everybody in every situation. Your situation matters. Your stability matters. Your risk tolerance matters. And let's be real, your life context matters. In this case, my friend is someone who's done quite a lot right. She's got a steady income. She's in a long-term career. She's got housing stability. She's bought her own home. She has a strong support network, both in her household and in her community. Like I said, she's a total badass. She has a ton of experience advocating for herself and her kids to make sure they get what they need. We're talking about someone who's not financially fragile. She's financially aware. But last month, she realized she's paying more than $100 in interest on her credit card every month. And suddenly, the urgency of this decision really started to weigh on her. And here's where the reality check comes in, because the system we live in is not built for single mamas. 31% of households run by single mamas live at or below the poverty line. On average, households led by single parents carry higher consumer debt than households with two adult income earners. And women still earn just 83 cents for every dollar earned by men. So if you're in a similar situation, you didn't do anything wrong. You're navigating a system that wasn't designed for you to thrive. So any shame or judgment you might be feeling, let it go. Well, let's take it off the table entirely. The real risk my friend is facing here is that even for someone with a steady income and who's well established, credit card debt can spiral, and it can spiral fast. The bottom line is that the interest rate on credit cards almost always exceeds any interest you might earn on a savings account, even a high-yield savings account. So if your emergency fund is low and your debt is growing, you're caught between two risks. The risk of not having a cushion when life happens, and the risk of paying hundreds, even thousands, over the lifetime of that credit card debt. And if the next emergency hits and you used your credit card to cover it, we're right back where we started. Low savings, higher debt, and no flexibility. That's the trap. That's the situation a lot of single income households face. Here's the strategy I recommend when someone is mostly stable, like my friend. Keep a tiny but consistent deposit going to savings. I'm talking about $10 a pay period. Something small, but something you can automate and just forget about it. This builds and maintains the habit of paying yourself first while also slowly giving you back some breathing room in that emergency fund. Pour the bulk of your extra money into your high interest credit card debt. Every dollar you're able to contribute towards that debt knocks down that interest that just goes into a black hole every month. Well, it goes into someone's pocket, but it's definitely not yours. Once the weight of your debt is lighter, then shift your focus back to your emergency fund and other savings. This lets you pay off expensive debt and restore your safety net without feeling like you're absolutely drowning. As a single mom, I prefer this flexible approach, and I find it really powerful. It gives flexibility and stability at the same time. One thing my friend didn't ask about, but I recommend she consider, is a 0% APR balance transfer. There's usually a 3 to 5% transfer fee right at the time of transfer. But for many people, it's worth it because you stop paying interest for 12 to 18 months. Every dollar you pay actually reduces your debt, and it buys you time and restores some flexibility, which is the overall goal. Another tool that could help my friend is a high yield savings account for that emergency fund. Even if you're only sending in small amounts, that added interest does build over time and it makes a difference. Those two changes could help create a shift where in the short term, you're not paying interest to credit card companies, you're receiving interest on your high yield savings account. So here's the bottom line for my friend who's wondering if she should pay down her credit card balance or build back up her emergency fund. Keep a small amount going to your savings account. Continue the practice of paying yourself. Focus the big dollars on paying down your high interest credit card. Consider transferring the balance to a 0% card to stop the short-term pain. Rebuild your emergency fund once the debt loosens its grip, and think about shifting that emergency fund over to a high-yield savings account so your money works better for you. This is how you regain flexibility and build financial resilience, which is the real goal here. If you want deeper support, tools, or clarity around decisions like this, hit subscribe and join the Badass Money Mama community. We do money differently here. We do it with compassion, with power, and without shame.